Small, but not a baby. Small, but not a baby. Very, very tiny baby. Week-old babies. Lazy, but not a baby. Whole bunch of chicken babies. Big baby. Can you sit? Sit. That's a good boy. No, you gotta stay. You gotta stay. No, you gotta stay. Stay, Kevin. Good boy. He's learning. There's Steven. They have become best friends. They play all day long. Isn't that right, Steven? Well, Steven is certainly no baby. But Kevin, although he is large, he is still a baby. And that, folks, is what we're talking about today. We're talking all about babies. And I am Jason. Welcome back to Cattywampus Acres. I want to go down here first. Uh-oh. You guys see Hulk over there? There's Hulk. Scoping out some prey. Hulk and Kevin do not, well, Kevin likes Hulk, but Hulk does not like Kevin. We are now on baby watch, since we're talking about babies, for Miss Fiona. So Fiona, as you can see, is very, very wide. And she is due any day now. So that's all we're really waiting for at this point. You ready to have this baby, Fiona? I think she is. She's definitely not very light on her feet, and she's pretty grumpy. Well, temperatures are 70s, almost 80, and very, very muggy here in Georgia. And we had so much rain this morning that everything is like washed all over the place. It's pretty crazy. It was hard rain. I am very, very tired of these big rains that we're having lately. Let us know what your weather's been like in your area. Since we're talking about babies, we got to go check in on the babies. If you saw the last video, we have not named them yet. So we have to talk about babies and making babies. Let me explain the breeding that we're going to be doing very soon. So Luna and Mr. Miyagi will be bred together, and they will make a mini mancha like, oh, there's one in here. I don't know where she's at. Oh, there she is. Laurel. Laurel is a mini mancha. So she's pretty close to full grown. She's probably going to get bred with Roger. Veruca is a full La Mancha. She is going to get bred with Quag, who's also a full La Mancha. And so is Francine. She's going to get bred with Quag as well. And Kevin is just going to be Kevin. He's found himself a bone over there. Here's the way we have to sort of rearrange the farm. So we had some babies last year, and we have to sort of thin the herd, and so we need to find homes for a few of these goats. Charlotte, the tiny little thing Charlotte, she needs to find a new farm, and Angina needs to find a new farm. Both does, they're both Nigerian dwarfs, except Charlotte here is a baby from this one right here, from Peyton. Peyton makes really small babies, and I guess it's about time that I show you more babies, because we had something happen the last few days, and I'll show you about it. Do you see this? Do you see this little boy? I think I'm going to call him Tommy. I don't know. I think I like the name Tommy. Let me show you just how small this little guy is. Look at my finger. This is a little boy. He is a Nigerian dwarf, and he is Roger and Peyton's here. And so he is just really small. I don't think he's much more than a pound. Isn't that right? And he has blue eyes, which is pretty cool. But he's a cute little guy, but you can see by my hand, like, he is tiny little guy. But he's a buckling, so we are going to have to find a good home for him. Probably, I don't know. We'll see if Lauren's able to get rid of this cute little guy. His colors are gorgeous, and so maybe we'll weather him and keep him around as a little pet. All right, I'll give you your baby back. He's just a little dude, man. And of course, we need to check in on Jolene's two little boys. If you watched our last video, you saw them being born. And here they are, the two nameless bucklings. They are quite healthy and quite orny. Oh, they're stout. You're stout, huh? They're handsome. They're handsome little guys. So if you can think of some good names for these two, or if you need some bucklings or wethers, let us know. Got this guy too. Oh, come here. Oh, they got full bellies. They've been eating good. You been eating good? Num, 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 num. Basically, the way it's going to go is, Jolene, we will start milking her, and we will start bottling these two boys. Like I said, these two will be bred. This girl right here, the most obnoxious one of them all, will be bred as well. We haven't decided on old Tommy over here. We're going to be milking Peyton. And Kevin, what are you doing? Hey, Kevin, don't eat goat poop. Quit eating goat poop, man. Quit that. Man, he's eating goat poop. Quit. Quit. That is gross. And Charlotte, she's just so small. She's healthy, but she's small. She is a sibling to Tommy over there. We will need to find a new farm for her. Probably somebody who just needs a pet, because I don't know how healthy it'd be for somebody little like her to be bred that much. So she'd be a good little farm goat, and we'll find somebody for her. Laurel, our first mini mancha, as I said, she's going to be bred for the first time, and we will start milking her, and we'll find out if she's got good udder genetics or not. She's always a little skittish, aren't you? Yes. So what we're going to talk about is goat babies and goat breeding. So you have a little idea if this is something that you're thinking about doing, and to have a little bit better understanding on what goes on in the goat breeding world. Full-size goats, like Luna here, full-size goats can only be bred in spring and fall. And it is now spring, so that's why they're going to be going into their heat cycles, and that'll be once a month or so-ish. And you can tell when they wag their tails when they're in heat. They do something called flagging, and when they flag, that is how they entice the boys. Now, the Nigerian dwarfs, on the other hand, they are in heat all year round, and that is every 3 to 3.5 to 4 weeks. They will be in heat all year. Hello, Laurel. So with Nigerian dwarfs, if you're trying to breed them, you have a little bit more of a window to breed them than you do with a full size. Now, since this will be our first time breeding a mini mancha, I don't know what her heat cycles are going to look like. We've certainly seen her flagging before, so it will be, we'll have to learn about if they are a seasonal breeder or a year-round breeder. So what can you expect when you breed your goat? Well, if you breed a miniature breed, you're looking at about 145 days gestation, so we're pretty close to 5 months before they have their babies. If you are breeding a full-size goat, you're looking at about 150 days, so still we're at about 5 months before they have their babies. And so that means technically they can be bred twice a year. I wouldn't recommend that. We only do once a year because that's a lot of stress on these girls' bodies, and I don't want them to live a shorter life just because we wanted more babies or something like that. It's important to remember that goats only give milk after they have had kids. Goat kids are what we call the babies. Some people think that dairy animals just give milk all the time. To some of you watching this will think that is very silly, and some will be like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. I thought cows and goats and everything just gave milk all the time. Nope, it is only after they've kidded or freshened, as we call it in the goat world. Kevin is learning his job. He's definitely getting braver and learning how to roam the pasture to keep an eye on these girls. We do get a lot of questions about how much milk a goat gives. Well, that depends on if they're a miniature or full size, and it very much depends on their udder genetics. And let me see if I can show you here. This is Luna's udder, and as you can see, she is not bred right now, and so hers is pretty deflated. But Luna has very good udder genetics, and we can tell that because we've milked her before, but she's got a very good udder. Opal over there, she also has very good udder genetics. Now Peyton does not have great udder genetics, and so she doesn't give us a very much milk. You're talking about a pint every milking. Tina, she's got pretty good genetics, and these two, the crazy part, are twins. Peyton and Tina are twins and have completely different udder genetics. And so that's something to look for. If you were just wanting one goat to provide a whole bunch of milk for your family, I would recommend spending a bunch of money and doing a bunch of research on a proper goat, or seeing that they've been freshened before, so you know what you're looking for when it comes to milk. Isn't that right, Luna? Kevin keeps eating goat poop. Kevin, quit eating goat poop. Jolene, although she gives a good amount of milk, her udder is okay. Her teats are very small. So if you have big hands, you're probably going to want to look into a goat like a La Mancha here that has bigger teats, because they're easier to do with your hands. And like I said, Charlotte, wouldn't recommend milking her or breeding her. She's just so small, and her babies are just going to be probably just smaller than her, so I wouldn't recommend it. She would be a good pet. We are cranking up our milking operation for our soaps. Shameless plug, cattywampusacres.com. Make sure you go and check out the best goat milk soap in the world, and we now have a bundle and save package. Go on the website, check that out. So we need to create more milk and produce more milk, so ultimately we need to have more girls that provide us a lot of milk and less that don't. We don't eat our milk goats because there's something called bone to meat ratio, and as you can see, Luna is a very big goat. She's about 130 pounds, and it would by the time you butchered her, it would not be very much meat. And so that's the difference between a dairy goat and a meat goat, because as you can see, dairy goats got these big old hips, and that is just how God made them, and that's how they're built. We can tell she's healthy because you go right back here and she's got a lot of meat on her right here. If you can feel their spine right here, then you need to probably check them for worms and maybe make sure that they're getting enough to eat, because that can be a problem. But ultimately, we love breeding our goats here. We love the goat's milk. The Nigerian dwarfs produce a very high butterfat milk, which is very sweet and creamy, where the La Manchas are about mid-range. They're about 4.5% butterfat, and they produce a lot of milk. And so that's just something to think about. If you're planning on consuming the milk, you're going to want one that is that produces a milk that you like to drink. And we have many videos talking about what you should feed your goats, what you shouldn't feed your goats if they're in milk. But as you can see, it is very much baby season around here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some links on the screen to some playlists about goats, so you can keep watching and learn so much more about goats. So make sure you check out these links here. They're awesome. We love goats. See you guys.